And it's going.
Welcome to the Speak Anime Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts today, JordanTheCow, joined by Jason and Greg, two of my big homies, RisingSunReviews and JasonTheTrvth. We're going to be talking about Magia Record Episode 8. Let me go ahead and crack open a cold one while Greg gets us started on the intro.
Yep, Jordan's drinking heavily tonight, by the way. So, this episode...
Just a Dr. Pepper, people. It's okay.
That's what he told us. So, This episode, we have... I don't know, stuff happened, and there are things, and I had lots of things that confused me, so a normal episode of Magia Record. They're investigating new rumors. I think Mommy might have shown up again, and more battles against the Magius people. So, very exciting episode, and I have no idea what's going on. So, good episode.
Jason, go ahead and say a few words so the audience can recognize that lovely voice of yours.
What's up? I'm Jason. Again, you should know this by now if you've been watching.
Yes, and if you don't, then...
Interesting.
If you don't, then go watch all the other episodes so you know who Jason is.
Yeah.
Because you're missing out if you don't know who he is. Yes.
Formality thing now, but you should know us.
Pretty much, yeah.
What we do.
I feel like every I listened to a few podcasts. Greg knows because we were listening to one on the way down to Austin for IkiCon this year. But I feel like podcasts, even in like episode hundreds, are like, "Hi, I'm Jordan." And then you go around like, "Hi, I'm Greg," and I'm Jason. That way people recognize the voice. I guess in case people jump in.
Yeah.
But I feel like on an episode review, probably it doesn't happen nearly as much. But I don't know. I guess it's more of a formality more than like an actual introduction.
Yes, but speaking of introduction, we started off the episode with like Tamaki sleeping with his stuffed bear, which I thought was cute, and then her phone was playing a radio station that says that they showcase the night, which I just thought that was a cool name, and then the radio station played the opening, which was weird.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool way to do the intro.
Yeah.
And with the whole episode being about like the radio tower and stuff, I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
And how like the radio station kind of just like kept turning on in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and
it was a good way to like subtly introduce us to the story without realizing that we were being introduced to it yet.
Right. And it was just cool. Like they have the music, they have like someone is calling in for advice. So I wonder, like, will that play a role later on too?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure. Obviously, we didn't get to the bottom of this story, this little mini story arc. So I'm sure there's gonna be at least next episode will be based around it. Maybe the episode after that, but yeah, you got to imagine that like the guy on the radio's some sort of sus character, or like at least like the letter senders or whatever they are.
Yeah, it could be. And then like the radio freaked out, and then there is the girl like laughing, who's apparently also the one trapped. Maybe, kind of. We're not sure.
Yeah, It was a weird episode. This is the first one where I've had like pretty mixed feelings about it, honestly. Like, obviously you two both know me well, and hopefully at this point the audience knows me. But when it comes to Madoka Magica, I was a pretty big fan years and years ago, and it was the first anime I ever watched. I ended up watching it like I think 40 something times or like 30 something times before I even watched another show. I've seen it. I don't even remember how many times now. And I just love the series. So when I started coming out with the Magia Record, I was really, really excited, even though I've never played the mobile game. And I've pretty much liked every episode so far. There were some slower ones, for sure at the start that were like, but they were also the intro episodes. But now that we're on episode 8, the slow episodes kind of need to start fading out, and we need to have less of these like weird. Like I feel like it was just like not super well paced this week, maybe.
It also feels like it's like an introduction episode to set up the new arc, which is kind of weird for Madoka storytelling that doesn't really have arcs. It just has like the one overarching arc.
Yeah.
Well, this one is like each arc is not really standalone, but it's like has its own story structure for a few episodes.
For sure.
Yeah, I was bored to tears with this episode.
Yeah, I just got out of a shower because I had taken a bath because it's been a long few days. So I took a bath for some relaxation. Realized I hadn't seen the episode yet, so I literally watched it about 15-20 minutes before filming this. And I gotta agree with Jason. This was the first one where I was watching and I was like, what are we even like? Why am I watching? Like how are we gonna talk about this episode for 20 or 30 minutes? I felt like there just like wasn't enough going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if like one of the big major animators were like sick for this week, and if he is, I hope he gets better next week because dear Lord, are we missing out? Or she, never know. But
Yeah.
I felt like this episode was really poorly paced, and overall, like it didn't get enough done. It just felt like it was taking forever.
Yeah, and it feels like unless this arc like really builds somewhere, it does feel like a letdown. As a whole, I liked it as an introduction, but I can see why other people like there is not that much that actively happened here.
Yeah. Well,
one thing
obviously we'll see, but I just felt like this episode was paced really weird. I feel like, you know when you're like in a movie theater and you have to pee, but you're like, okay, it has to be close to the end of the movie, and then it feels like it goes even longer. And it's been like 30 minutes. You're like, wait, I thought it was like almost over, but now it's actually almost over. So now I really have to stay and I can't go. Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world. I felt like this episode was just that, obviously on a smaller scale, but I felt like it was just that.
I wonder if the reason I didn't feel like that is because I'd watched a couple other anime this week that were extremely slowly paced. It was like this was fast paced compared to those.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the little mini battle scene we had was nice. I think it was kind of thrown on at the end just because.
Right. And I think one of the things that they're exploring here and kind of being subtle about it is like all the different friendships between the characters, or at least how they're strained. Because you like have Tamaki starting new school and want to like welcome her at first when the rumors start with her being connected with Felicia, like push her away. You have like Kaida and like not responding to anyone, and there's just a lot of things that you can feel like Tamaki being alone, despite her being surrounded by a lot of other people.
Yeah, and Yachio is apparently obviously we learned that Yachio's try to be pretty secretive about a few things.
Oh yeah, there's that
about, like
too.
the Wings of Magia stuff later on in the episode when she's on the phone call and she like notices Tamaki comes in a little bit late, but she notices and she decides to just hang up and doesn't really mention it to her.
Right.
So I feel like that's kind of an important thing to touch on as well. But yeah, I get an overall sense that Tamaki is just being more and more alone, and I wonder if that's gonna twist into like her becoming more and more of a witch as time goes on.
Well, the rumor this episode, or at least one of them, was of the Invisible Girl, which I kind of feel like Tamaki's becoming.
Yeah, that's what I was starting to pick up on too. Was definitely a possibility for sure.
And then they have like the scene with Rena and her on the roof. They're like sitting in chairs, but they're facing away from each other, so like she feels disconnected there. I think is what it could be symbolizing.
Mm-hmm.
And just like some of the other shots, that there's a lot of really interesting visual storytelling here. I thought.
Yeah, as always, I think the visuals looked really, really good. I just don't know if I don't think they were met with like the greatest of stories or storytelling.
Right.
Um.
And one thing that like we've said before, Shaft is really, really good at the visuals. But one of the things that I don't think people give them as much credit as they deserve is like how they're able to use the visuals to tell like the story of the human connections and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just like noticed that a lot here, since this was also kind of like to show us more of the characters and their dynamic now and how that's changed.
Absolutely, I agree. I think this episode had a few stronger things. Obviously Shaft, like we were saying, was killing it with the visuals, killing with storytelling through visuals. I just think in general, visual set aside, it was super slow and there wasn't a whole lot of content.
Yeah, I could definitely see me being bored if the visuals weren't as good, which is weird because visuals normally don't impress me that much or like change my view on something.
I think this episode didn't quite. I feel like they should have tried to do more with it. Like sometimes later in series they try to put too much in because they're like, oh crap, like our season is done in a few weeks, so we have to end the story. Whereas this one's like, we have plenty of time, let's just kind of dawdle for an episode. And I felt like they could have really thrown in like a whole lot more into the episode without it really affecting too much.
I wonder if the reason they're doing it this way is because like they have too many episodes for the story they want to tell to fit neatly into.
Maybe.
So it's like instead of being rushed, they like know that like they're one episode short of the episodes they need. Otherwise, they just like to cram too much in there. So they might be like taking slow here on purpose.
That's true. Obviously, it's hard because if we weren't watching this as it came out, we'd be able to just tell you guys how it worked out. But unfortunately, we're watching it as it comes out, so it's like this episode was kind of slow and kind of not a good one.
Yeah, because we don't have the context of the future episodes, and like when we first watched Madoka, I think we watched it like very quickly, so there wasn't like the week wait between episodes.
Oh yeah, no. The first time I watched Madoka, I watched it in less than a day. I literally sat down and I didn't get up until I finished it.
I don't think I was that bad at it. What about you, Jason? How long did it take you to watch it?
Probably like a day.
Okay. I honestly don't remember for me, but I think it was like a couple days.
I mean, it's only 12 episodes, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 episodes, not too bad.
Actually, let me check. Let me see if I can see how long.
Oh, see if you had it on Mal or something.
But while Jason's looking up the numbers,
yeah, looks like I finished it in a day.
Okay.
I think I just feel like there wasn't enough to be told in this episode, and they kind of like weren't really prepared for that. I think they could have at least, if they didn't want to have too much content in this episode, they could have made that fight a little bit longer and then increased the pacing throughout the rest of the episode. That way it didn't feel like it was as slow.
Yeah.
Because if you have little content, put it in a little bit of time and then just have a bigger filler fight.
And it also feels like a lot of the like other scenes were kind of filler too. Like they have the intro with the radio and the music, which in a way it introduced the whole radio tower thing, but not really. Then you had a scene with like Ui and her friends, which kind of feels out of place, at least story-wise, though thematically it fits.
Yeah, but say I could kind of see where that fit in. I almost wish there was more of those scenes in there this episode. I felt like it was like going with just one small, like however long it was, 45-second, 1 minute long scene like that, kind of felt off. I wish they had done it to where they had like more of the Ui and friends getting along and like having little fights or whatever thrown into the mix.
Or like see why it matters more than what just showing it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have made for more. Obviously, would have had more for the episode to do. Would have led to more storytelling.
Although one thing I can relate to is getting lots of spam emails or phone calls and wondering where they're coming from.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It's always weird to get like. Every once in a while I get like a spam text. And I'm like, why?
It's more phone calls for me. I'm like, I don't know who you are.
I get phone calls every day. That's not even new anymore. But like, if I get a spam text message, I get like uncomfortable. Because I don't know, texting just like, I feel like texting seems more personal because scam calls or spam and scam calls are so regular now.
Right.
But like, if I get a text from a completely random number, that's just hello, your home insurance is like expired. I'm like, okay, one, I don't have a home to insure. Two, if I did, call me about it. Like, stop trying to get personal with me, dog.
Yeah, or like a phone calls about like my social security. It's like not on social security.
Yes. God bless, dude. I don't know. So I think we'll all relate to that as the audience, but
yeah,
I don't know. That's for sure. It's more. I feel it's the first episode of Magica that's ever like left me unsatisfied because we've had other episodes in the past from this show that were slower, but like at least it was okay. They introduced 3 characters, so like they couldn't do too much more than introduce 3 people. That's fine. This episode's like she transferred schools, and then Ui was a thing for 45 seconds, and then there's 2 rumors, but we're gonna focus on the one that seems like why would they go for the radio tower one when the invisible girl probably more likely to be either Ui or Iroha herself?
Yeah.
Like, why would they go for... I don't understand. I just felt like it was all very weird.
Yeah, well, I think I like this episode better than episode 4, since there was like more things to like start questioning and try to figure out what's going on. Because like a character introduction, there's nothing really interesting here, or in that one, but here there's at least, okay, they're going somewhere with the story here, I think, so trying to figure that out.
I get that. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I still think this is, like, for me at least, like, one of the more disappointing ones, if not the most disappointing one of the series so far. Yeah, I can't see the logic between, my sister who randomly vanished off the face of the earth, other words, invisible. That's so weird. I wonder why there's a rumor about an invisible girl. Oh, but here's a radio tower. Let's go investigate that instead. Like, what? The whole focus on the show is going after a chick who is seemingly invisible. Maybe follow that rumor instead. Maybe that one should take priority, though.
Yeah, I could definitely see that doesn't make much sense. Like, why? Unless they just did not know enough to go off of there, so she went after the radio tower instead.
I mean, maybe, but there wasn't a whole lot of information given about either one.
Right.
I think they tried to justify it by like her going back and then seeing the chick from the Wings of Magius.
Yeah, so they have that thing. So there are some questions there.
Yeah.
Also,
I just don't know if that's enough for me. I feel like if I was in their position, I'd still want to go after the invisible girl and just leave the radio tower one for later.
Right. Oh, so
but I guess the radio tower could also be coming into play with like the mystery text. I don't know. It's hard.
Or maybe they're all connected together. So they're actually the same room where there's like different sides of it. Something I thought was weird was like all the different statues around the radio tower when they were there.
Yes, and they kept like inching closer.
Yeah, it was just like...
At least in the shot, it looked like it the first time.
They wanted it to be very obvious that you noticed them, though I don't quite know what they mean.
Yeah. Well, when she went there alone, and then like at the roof, it like turned into the labyrinth thing because she was summoning the witches.
Yeah.
When she went there alone, the statues right behind her, like the angel statues or whatever, right behind her kept like moving in closer to her in the camera. I don't know if that's just like they were trying to like show the size of these things and the magnitude, or if they were actually inching closer because witches were around or whatever. But
yeah, because
they definitely wanted you to notice them. If you didn't notice them, you just like didn't have eyes.
Yeah, I was kind of asleep then.
I think that's like the one thing this episode got across was notice these cool statues. All right, next.
Yeah. And then they also mentioned something about like Sana Futaba, which I don't know if that's a name I should recognize, but I didn't.
I don't think we've been introduced to that character yet.
Yeah, Futaba looks familiar, but I think it's from a different show.
Yeah, that's the one issue with anime. And I guess it's with any names in general. There's a lot of the same names across different shows, whether it be anime or like actual or American TV.
Right. Well,
there's gonna be characters in different shows that are named, stuff like Dave and David, but you're like, okay, wait, is that the David from the other show or this show?
Yeah, I think just because it's a Japanese name, it like kind of stands out more as being a similar name. Mm-hmm, like we already mentioned, like we have Ui and Yui from K-On! Also here and all that. Yep. They need to introduce the rest of the K-On! Cast. That'll save the show.
Okay.
See, Jason's happy now.
Jason, how was so other than it bored you to death and sleeping, talk to us about the show. What break it down for me.
Like the whole show? Altogether?
Not like the whole show, but like this episode, like, give me some knowledge. Drop some knowledge bombs on me. I feel like you're not talking a whole lot. I'm trying to get you involved in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about this one because it was like Greg said, it's another introduction thing, and they're going back to investigating those rumors like they did in the earlier episodes. And so it's just kind of like nothing much happened, really.
There is something I noticed, not directly related to this episode, but the opening, is that near the end of the opening, they show a magical girl with like a green color scheme and a shield, but then we have not seen her. She's not really prominent elsewhere in the opening. So I wonder if there's a connection there with Ui, because in the opening she's like really close to Tamaki.
Oh, I skipped the opening.
Ah, okay.
I watched it. I think I noticed that, but at the same time, it could just be a character that's like coming up in this arc. It could be. We'll see. I think there's definitely some potential there for it to be like a very close and relevant character like Ui. There's also just a chance that it's another magical girl. like the ones we've already been introduced to.
Yeah, it definitely could be just another like minor character, but it's just the way they're presented felt like there's something more to this character. But again, you never know.
Yeah. It's always hard to read Shaft, especially the Shaft staff that's working on Madoka.
Right. They definitely like their mysteries. And we also had Mommy show up to help Tamaki during the battle, but then she disappeared, which was really strange.
Mommy showed up, shot one bullet to save Tamaki's bitch ass, and then dipped. And I love it. I'm a fan of that. Gosh. She said, "Here, I'll save you this one time. If you get picked up again, you on your own. Sorry."
That feels like something Homer would do, not Mommy, though.
But I had like the yellow and the flowers, and it was like her silhouette.
No, so. I mean just like that type of thing sounds like Homer. I wasn't saying it was her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mommy is like, she wants to save someone. She'd want to make sure they're okay and all that. So why would she just like shoot once and then leave? Or what is she actually up to?
Well, considering that the three friends showed up right afterwards, it makes me like I feel like I was led to believe that Mommy knew that her three friends were there, and either she doesn't. I can't remember. Like we were discussing this when Mommy first showed up. She like walked past Kaida, I think, or maybe Suruno, and she was like, "Your friend has like something, like is hiding something, or like she's a witch, or whatever. Like, don't trust her."
Right.
And we weren't sure if that was about Yachi or Tamaki. Either way, Yachi was running up, and she just shot at the witch to like help save Tamaki.
Yeah.
So she probably didn't want to be in that situation to deal with either the one that she didn't like or like was iffy about, you know.
Something you just reminded me of is you were saying that when Mommy showed up and basically shot the Tamaki's witch form, the other character who's seen turn into a witch is Kaide, and she's also and now she's like very much pushing people away, not interacting with people.
So I haven't seen her since then.
So is there a connection there as well, I wonder?
Yeah, I feel like because then I think like we saw her turn into the witch and turn back out of it, and she was like freaking out because she knew what happened. So I feel like because she knew what happened, she's trying to avoid all of her magical girlfriends.
I wonder if there's something more to it though, because Tamaki's like she was sending messages to Rena and Kaide like saying like I'm going to be at your school, but Rena never got them or never responded. So I wonder if there's like something supernatural that's isolating them after they turned into witches.
That's true. That definitely could be. At least from each other, because she was able to call Yachio and like the voice stuff, but I could see something intervening between her and Rena and Kaide, perhaps.
Yeah, so, or maybe it's because she's been around Yachio so much, like she's okay there, but it's like,
yeah, maybe
unless she's like actively close to them, whatever it is pushes them away.
Yeah, no, I feel like this episode laid out a bunch of questions, didn't really answer.
Yeah.
Any questions that we had before it. Kind of introduced some stuff. Was overall, in my opinion, still a little bit too slow. I think they could have made the fight, even if they made the fight like a minute and a half, 2 minutes longer, and then cut down the show a little bit, and like just kind of kept in like important stuff, or just like mashed it more together to make it more cohesive. I feel like it would have been an overall better episode. But
yeah, I think it would be better if they answered some of the old questions as they were introducing new ones.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah, because
I feel like this episode is just gonna be like the last episode, or this show is gonna be the last episode answering every question that we've had for the entire series.
Right.
And I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, but
yeah. And while I don't dislike this episode, I could feel like if the answers here are not satisfactory, then that'll make me retroactively like this one less.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That's basically all the things I noted to talk about. Was there any other thoughts that you guys have?
I don't think so.
Not really.
I'm not surprised to see the Wings of Magia show back up.
Right. They definitely wouldn't just do
like
that.
The big overarching thing. I think other than that, I'm pretty much done on this episode. I will say this is definitely like in my bottom 2 episodes for the series so far. I agree. I think the 4th episode, I think, is the one that we like all were saying was pretty weak as well.
Right.
So I think this one was also not a super strong episode. Hopefully next week will be better.
Yeah. Hopefully now they can like pick it up as they head toward however this concludes.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping so. I think overall it's just way too slow paced. There wasn't enough content, and I like try to squeeze in a little bit of a battle to like to help the viewer feel more engaged, at least towards the end. But if they made the battle a little bit longer, again, it's like a minute and a half or two, a little bit longer, and then condense everything previously to make it take up like a minute and a half less time, would have been fine. Or at least it wouldn't have been fine, but I would have liked it much more, and it wouldn't be in like my bottom two discussion. Um, yeah, I don't know. I felt like there just wasn't enough content in this episode. So overall, I feel like I'm pretty like and disappointed in it. But
Yeah.
hopefully that means next week we'll have bunches of answers and it'll be an awesome kick-ass episode though.
All right. Well, thank you to, as it's wrapping up, I guess. So thank you to everyone who checked this out. Hopefully we'll be back next episode to talk about why it's now super amazing and our favorite anime of all time and almost as good as K-On!
We'll see. Hoping so.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week, probably Wednesday night, probably about 10 o'clock Central.
I tried to do this earlier, but that never works at all. So we're just going with Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we always try it, but my work schedule sucks. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay. Those things, and then my work schedule is also fun, and then Jason's, and yeah, we need to like not be on 3 different work schedules.
Yeah, turns out we all need to work the same job.
Yeah, you can work with me. We're hiring.
No. Come work in Dallas. It's okay. That way only Jason only has to move 4 hours and only have to move across the country, or I can move down to Austin if you'd rather. Either way.
Yeah.
Anywho, you guys, we'll see you guys next week, probably about this time. So long. Take care. Have a good night. It's been real.
Yeah.
Goodbye.